Morning guys, this is Coach Heather here at Kid Carton Fit Body Boot Camp. We are on a Monday, which means that we're going to do nutrition news a little earlier today. But I had some time and I want to get this done before things got too busy. So here we are. Today I want to talk about just keeping active, keeping busy, and why that can be so much more important than just losing a few pounds, losing a few inches, getting into a smaller dress size or a smaller pant size. So for most people, when we think about exercise, we're thinking about getting on the bike, going for a run, doing crunches, doing sit-ups, burpees, everything like that. But there's so much more to it than that. We're looking at improved thinking, stronger relationships, and expressing our purpose in life. So developing a body that moves well can be the ticket to feeling capable, confident, and free. We are literally born to move. Even though our society has progressed as humans, we have evolved into different movement patterns. We were made to move. So nowadays we're sitting lots. We sit in the car to drive, we sit at our desk for much of the day, and then we come home and we want to relax. So again, we're sitting. So yes, we're not doing what our bodies are meant to do, so we end up with creaky knees, stiff backs, running around after kids or grandkids, and not having a good time because we can't keep up and we can't do what they're doing. So sure, if you can't move well, that may be a sign that you're not as healthy as you could be. But the quality and quantity of your daily movement, we're looking at strength, we're looking at agility, those are great markers for something that could be so much more important. So we need to be mindful about getting our bodies moving, doing what we are meant to do. As humans, we use our bodies to express our wants, our needs, our emotions, our thoughts, our ideas. And ultimately, how well we move and how much we move can determine how well we engage with the world around us. So for much larger purposes than just staying slim or staying in that dress size that we want to. If you move well, you also think, feel, and live well. So what more excuse do you need to really get out there, stay active, stay busy? It's proven that healthy movement can help us feel well, physically and emotionally, function productively, think, learn, and remember, interact with the world, communicate and express ourselves, connect and build relationships with others, and just have a better sense of being. And the other thing to remember is that we don't need typical workouts to move. For some of us, it's a motivation factor, it's a time factor, lack of equipment that we have available to us. But if you really stop and think, our ancestors didn't need to work out, right? They were walking, they were climbing, they were running, they were swimming, hauling, digging, squatting, throwing, carrying things, just for daily life, just to survive. Obviously, we have evolved, things have progressed. We don't need to do these things to survive. But they can be done without a fancy gym membership, without a lot of equipment. There's always a way to stay active and stay healthy. But when we look at working out, a lot of our movements that we do is a way to get our bodies moving the way we used to, the way our bodies know and love how to move. So as a species, yes, we haven't forgotten that. So our squats, our throws, our lunges, things like that, all things that our ancestors would have done, and our bodies love to move. So of course, exercising, whether it is in a gym or not, awesome for our bodies. In general, we move way less than we used to. Everyone will agree, everyone can attest to that. In general, we move a lot less than we used to. But movement is still programmed in us. Our bodies still want to do it. And it is a critical aspect of how we engage with the world around us. So we've got to find a way. If you're not a gym rat, that is fine. Lots of ways to get out there, get social, get interacting with the world around us. So if we don't, we are at risk of losing so much more than just, a dress size or a pant size. So what factors determine how our bodies move, right? We're all built differently. We all move differently. That's something that I say a lot in the gym here, is that your skaters are going to be completely different from your neighbors because we're all built differently. We all move differently. So while there are universal human movement patterns, our specific movement habits are unique to us and our unique individual bioengineering. So how we move is going to be determined by our size, by our shape, the position of all of our body parts, and along with things that are going to add weight like body fat. So all these different factors are going to determine how we move and how those patterns look. So for example, if you're a tall person with longer bones, it may be harder for you to do a bench press, to do a squat, to do a deadlift with the amount of weight that your shorter friend can do. Just because you have a range of motion which is much bigger than your friends, and you have to move that weight over a longer distance with longer levers. So this is why you don't see very many super tall weightlifters or power lifters, because of those levers that they're moving. Also, another reason why when you see great bench pressers, they are typically shorter people, bigger rib cage, shorter little T-Rex arms. We all do things differently. We're all great at different things, and that's why it's awesome to have different movement patterns, different exercises to suit everybody's different individual makeups. So yes, your shorter friend with a different build may be better at that squat, at that deadlift, at that bench press, but maybe you having longer limbs, you may be better at swimming, climbing, running. It just depends on how we're built and how those movement patterns progress. If we're bottom heavy or if we're shorter, we may not be able to run as fast as taller friends, but we may have a little better balance than those taller people. So it's apples and oranges, and it's finding how to move the best for your build. If you've gained weight around your middle, or if you're pregnant, you may have some back pain just because that extra belly weight is going to pull on your lumbar spine, your lower back, and can cause discomfort. If you have wider shoulders, for example, you have a longer lever arm, which means that you could possibly throw, pull, or hit better than somebody else. If you have those longer legs, longer strides, which typically means you can run faster, especially true if you also have narrower hips, because that's going to create more vertical femur angle, allowing you to waste less energy controlling that pelvic rotation in your run. So typically when you think of cross-country runners, narrower hips, longer limbs, longer legs, it does make sense. And that's why you get what you get. One of my daughter's friends in their house, they always say you get what you get, and it's true. We are who we are, and we can train, we can progress, we can push our limits, but it's also good to be realistic when we're setting goals, and look at our body structures and what we've been given in life. So no matter where you're getting started, the more you move, the better your body will function. That is true for everybody, no matter what we look like, no matter how we're built. So when we move, a lot of things are happening. Our muscles are contracting. We're loading our connective tissues and bones. We're increasing our respiration and our circulation. And we're also releasing particular hormones and cell signals. So lots going on. So with all of these, also a variety of other physiological processes. And they're going to tell our bodies to use raw materials that we're consuming through our food in certain ways. So movements can tell our bodies to retrieve stored fat. So fat, glucose, use it for energy. It can also tell us to store any extra energy in our muscles to use later for repair, rather than storing it as fat. That's a pretty nice thing, I think. And movement exercise can also tell our bodies to strengthen tissues such as those muscles, ligaments, tendons, and bones, and clear out accumulated waste products. So all wonderful things to get our bodies moving and to see some benefits from them physically. Improve bodily functions, ensure that we're able to move well. In daily life, this can be things like climbing stairs or hills, stepping over obstacles, carrying our groceries, standing up and down, getting up from the floor, grasping or holding onto objects like a screwdriver, like a hammer, that grip strength, pulling or dragging things across the floor, carrying out your garbage, walking your dog, all things that when we move more, when we move better, these things will also benefit in our daily lives because of that movement. So the more we can do confidently and capably, the fitter we'll be. And even better, this usually means the more we'll do. When we do more, that leads to more fitness. And the cycle continues. So that's a wonderful thing to have happening. Movement also, in humans as well as animals, is a nice teller of how we interact with the world. So as babies, we immediately start to grab things, put things in our mouths, we reach for things, we cling on to things, particularly parents. we're tactile, we're kinesthetic beings, and we directly interact with physical stimuli. So the touching, tasting, manipulating, moving ourselves around objects in our three-dimensional space. It's all about movement and how we're interacting with the world. Also helps us connect with others and build those relationships. So movement gives us a rich, nuanced expression of language that goes far beyond words. It helps us build more fulfilling and lasting relationships, fewer misunderstandings, disconnections, or communication bloopers, just by getting out there, moving, and expressing ourselves. Movement also helps us to think, learn, and remember. So it helps us maintain existing brain structures. It helps slow age-related mental decline, helps us recover if our brain is injured or inflamed. It lowers oxidative stress. Who doesn't like that? And it also increases the level of substance known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF for short, and that's involved with our learning and our memory. So increased levels of that because of exercise, another fantastic reason to get the body moving. Also, movement is going to affect how we feel physically and emotionally. No matter what shape or size we come in, we're all going to see benefits physically and emotionally from getting more movement into our lives. So people who change their bodies with exercise rather than diet, studies have shown they feel better about their bodies. They feel better about their capabilities, about their health, and about their overall quality of life. Even if their weight ultimately ended up staying the same, exercise is improving all of these things for them. So when you're thinking about, weight loss, fat loss, if you're looking at exercise versus nutrition, psychologically, emotionally, the benefits were stronger in research with people who went to exercise. But imagine if we went for both. Double whammy, great results, more than one or the other. So that's me for today, guys. I just want to talk a little bit about why moving in general is so important. So again, even if we're not going to the gym, that walk, that jog, chasing after your kids, movement does not need to be a workout per se. It is just getting up, moving. Think about how they moved hundreds of years ago, and they didn't need anything fancy. They just got it done. So get out, get active, stay busy, enjoy all the benefits from that movement, and be happy, guys. This is actually my final nutrition news. I will be stepping back from King Cardin Fit Body Bootcamp. So for the many weeks, I want to say thank you for your time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. What is going on the rest of the week at the gym? I will be here tomorrow morning for my last few sessions, and then we have some new faces coming in. We started an 8-week challenge just today, so we have a lot of campers in coming in for their first session, which is fantastic to see. More great boards, more great times. So I will see you next time. I'll see you around town, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.